I want to thank my council colleagues for the opportunity to share this really, really good news with all of you. You got to hear a little bit about this during this budget season this year, and this is in relation to the San Ysidro Public Library. You might recall some of the testimony talking about the oldest library in our entire system, 1924, one of the smallest, and the change that has occurred in San Ysidro over the course of the several decades that it's been in existence. Well, the residents of San Ysidro have been waiting for quite some time, and even as short as about 10, 15 years ago, there was talks about a new library. However, that never came to fruition. But with this council and the last couple of years, we have made significant progress. There has been a few generations of children that have come through San Ysidro that haven't had an opportunity to have an adequate library for them in their neighborhood, but we're excited that finally, thanks to all of you and the support in the budget, we were able to get that much closer. So I am excited to announce that we have with us the Lamas family. Mr. Lamas is here, and he has made a very generous contribution of $1.5 million, which will reach our final goal number to successfully move forward to construct our library in San Ysidro. So I want to say thank you to him. We certainly couldn't have reached this goal, and I think it really shows, I think all of you have probably heard from our Library Foundation at some point or another over the last couple of weeks about why it's important for us to invest in our library system, because there are so many wonderful people like Mr. Lamas and his family who are out there willing to step up when we step up. So I want to say congratulations to all of us, because we've stepped up significantly in our funding of our library system, and then we get individuals like Mr. Lamas, who said, because the City Council and the City of San Diego has chosen to step up, I want to help be a part of it. So I'm really, really excited that we have closed the gap. We won't be needing to ask for any more general fund money next year to get this library built. We have a meeting tonight, our first community workshop, so this just happened to line up really well, to talk about what this library is going to look like. We have a site that we've purchased. I want to thank all the staff that's worked on this, real estate assets, the library department, certainly the community who was so supportive, and also Scott Chadwick, who's not here, but he was very helpful in making sure that today occurred. And finally, and definitely not least, the Library Foundation. And Jay is here from the foundation representing them, and so is Ingrid Lamas, who has a relation with Mr. Lamas, but she's been fantastic as a member of the foundation. And again, just really good news. It might be a good way to start off the afternoon. And I want to say thank you to all of you for listening to the community who was here before and for supporting San Ysidro in their efforts. And once again, Mr. Lamas, thank you for what your gift that you're giving to the city. I'd love for you to share your story, please, with us, if you could.
I was raised in San Ysidro, so the library was an important aspect of my life. This is like a homecoming to me. My first job after I graduated from San Diego State in 1963 was working for the City of San Diego in the Office of Administrative Management. We were down on 1600 Pacific Coast Highway. Frank Kern was the mayor. Tom Fletcher was the city manager. John Ingram was the head of the department, and one of my first assignments was to meet with all the department heads and do the office layouts for every floor in this building, which hadn't started construction yet, so the contractors would know where to put the electrical plugs and the telephone outlets. Also, one of my assignments as the budget analyst was to grind down the library budget, and the city librarian, Clara Reed, at the time used to cry during the budget sessions, so I'm here partially to do penance for making her cry. I've met Misty, and she doesn't look like a crier at all. She just knows how to extract money. The importance of putting libraries in low-income neighborhoods is more important than it ever was before. Getting out from under is a lot harder than it was 50 or 60 years ago. housing takes up a greater percentage of low-income families' wages. It's harder to find jobs for people without college educations, well-paying jobs. Going to college, when I went to San Diego State, it was $125 a semester, covered books, tuition, student fees. All you had to do is have a decent SAT score and a 3.5 average, and you're in. Nobody can question whether or not they would take you. They just took you. Now you have to go through hoops and end up having a huge debt when you come out of college. So it's very difficult to do. There is a recent study done by United Way that shows that 31% of all California families now live below the federal poverty level. There was a study by USC that just came out last week that showed that it implies that only about 25% of Californians are really doing well. Also, the studies show that the children of the 25% are the only ones that are really getting ahead. They go start school with better reading and math skills. They do better in their SAT scores. They do better in scores, and they actually do better when they get out. And the reasons for it, according to the studies, is, of course, is the environment. Better homes, safer neighborhoods, better health, but more enrichment opportunities. They have more access to books, more access to computers. They have parents with a lot of social skills that they're better educated more, and they share it with their children. So libraries are really one of the last great equalizers we have in low-income neighborhoods. They're the ones that provide the enrichment opportunities and the opportunities to get ahead that lower-income families can no longer afford. Jay Hill had talked me into funding a computer center down at the San Ysidro Library about 3 or 4 years ago. And about 6 months ago, I was swung by because I was down meeting with some of my South San Diego clients. And at 6:30 in the evening, there were lines of people waiting to use 35 computers. I was absolutely amazed. So the importance of providing this is very good. I'm very thankful for David Alvarez for taking the leadership, for the council for financing it. I thank you for allowing me to be part of it. I think that this is a project that we'll all be very proud of and will pay far greater dividends than the money we're putting in for it today. So thank you.
Councilmember Alvarez, did you want to speak again?
Do you have public speakers on this? No?
None who are here present.
Okay. I don't know if Jay wanted to say a few words or not, but what I'll just say is I really appreciate Mr. Lamas sharing this story. Some of you might have heard my story growing up in my little library, which is now a bigger library, Logan Heights, but it was a really small library. That's where I spent my middle school, after school time, because I didn't have a computer and definitely didn't have access to the internet, didn't have a printer, and that was really, really important in my formation as a young person to have a positive place. And now, as he mentioned, libraries are, yes, they've got great computer labs and obviously wonderful materials and books, but they are also gathering places and important places for communities where there's more activity. There's other types of activity there, and we are really excited about what's going to happen here at San Ysidro. The community is very excited. I know some of them are here today, and like I said, we're having a workshop this afternoon where I'm pretty sure will be very well attended, as our last meeting was a couple weeks ago or a month ago. But again, thank you to the council president for giving this opportunity, and Jay, I think they're going to ask you to fill out a slip when you come up. But thank you very much, and I appreciate all of the support from all of you here today.
I'll just keep this really brief, but Councilman Alvarez, just really appreciate your leadership and appreciate the leadership on this council. We know that there's a lot more work to do, and when you support the library budget, we're able to get the community members involved and make things happen. So I know that there are libraries throughout the city that still need attention. I just want to let you know the Library Foundation is committed to working with you to make a difference in our community. And I thank you for your support of library services in San Diego. I think it just makes such a big difference for all the people that we serve. You know, there's record numbers now. Really, just am so inspired by the Lamas family. I told Lloyd that really I think the greatest gift is his daughter Ingrid, who's been a foundation board member and has really helped move us into the next phase. And I also want to acknowledge our leadership. Amy Valeris, the chair of our board, is here. Adolfo Campo, the branch manager at San Ysidro. There's many people who have gotten involved to make sure that that today happened. And we just want to let you know that we're committed to moving all our 36 libraries and all our neighborhoods forward across the city so that they represent the world-class library system that we have here in San Diego. So thank you again for all your support.
Councilmember Zaff?
I just want to say congratulations to Mr. Alvarez. What a great thing this is. Sir, I'm just really moved and touched that you would step up. It is really important in the low-income areas to have kids who have those kinds of opportunities in the books. And I know you haven't been here. Everyone here is like sick of my story. You know, I was one of those low-income kids and spent countless hours in the library and checked out as many books as, you know, I could take home. Thankfully, it was in the 60s and early 70s. There were no computers. There was no internet. There was none of that. So I didn't have to worry about that. But it did provide, you know, my childhood. I think back on it, and the library was one of the most important places for me because once you could read, the whole world was there for you. And the only thing I wanted, I was the nerdiest kid ever, and the only thing I wanted was an encyclopedia set. And I think my mom found one at a thrift store one time, and I got my encyclopedia set. I would play encyclopedia roulette, you know, grab a book, open it up, and just read what was there. So thank you, sir, for your incredible generosity. And I'm sure you'll be greatly blessed by it, and we're very enriched by your generosity. Thank you.
I'd like to add to that. Thank you very much. It means a whole lot. And congratulations, David. Good job. Very good job. If there's any way in which the council can help make sure that keeps moving along, please share. I think you will.